I could have literally just kept going and going and going. That is the most extraordinary sound.
Keep going down.
Are we happening?
Yeah, we are. I think we are. I'm just, as usual, everything's new, so I'm just trying to work out the levels.
Okay.
So you keep the people happy.
Okay. Well, I'll keep playing.
No.
No. No. No. Under no circumstances.
I was doing all kinds of. Keystrokes to try and get the cameras to change, and it wasn't happening. But
Oh, did you get it done eventually?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Hard to tell.
All right.
Hello, everyone. Please let us know if you can hear us okay, and if all of that is okay. I think it is. It's a little bit hard to tell because everything's new today. So, yeah. Hello.
Hello, indeed.
Rather than spend hours in pre-production trying to work out if it works or not, we thought we'd just go live.
Just
you know,
go live. Just do it.
it's better that way. I think it's better that way. So it'll sound a bit different. I'm sweating.
You've been doing hard yakka. That's what we call it.
Well, that's good.
Good. Yeah, no, so we got our new desk in, proper analog mixing desk.
Yeah, we'll explain all that in a minute.
All right.
I just need to know if we're live.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to Shambles show
A shambles show.
The show of shambles. You struggling to get in, mate?
I am.
I am too. I don't know quite why that is.
Oh, hang on, it's on now.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Right, are we on? Could you just check that we're on?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Are we on? Bueller? It would appear. Yes, we're on. We're on.
Great.
Yes, you are live. Thank you, Mog. The Mog. Hurrah!
Could you hear the guitar and did it sound all right?
Let's see. Marcio Renato, greetings from Brazil. Os. Shambling TPS. Both voices could be a bit louder. Thanks, Rax Effects.
Glorious sound, says BV Ninja.
Awesome.
Mick, you're a bit quiet. Yeah, thank you. We'll turn the voices up in a minute. Could you hear the guitars all right? Let us know. I literally guessed at the EQ. I've got no way of monitoring it, so I guessed at the EQ. Because, you know, that's how we roll, in it, Dan?
It is, indeed.
In it, mate.
Josh Garland said, sounded beautiful. Oh, thank you, mate.
Lovely.
Douglas, the guitar sounded sounded lovely. Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Brian Tisdale says, what type of telly are you playing? Brian, this is a 1965 Telecaster. Yeah. It's lovely.
Okay, well, let's try that. Just talk a bit a sec, Dan.
Everyone seems to think it sounded fantastic. There you go. Insanely good tone. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Hurrah.
That's good.
Very good.
Insanely good over streaming, I'll take.
Guitar sounded great. Voice is just a little quiet.
Okay, well, hopefully
Thank you, BV.
Hopefully I've turned them up a bit, BV. Yeah. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to VCQ. As is usual for TPS, we normally spend ages trying to work all this stuff out, but today, not so much.
It's so lovely to
Still
see.
trying to work out how to get it louder and kind of struggling on that front.
Okay.
I think there might be some sort of limiter on somewhere. Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's not loud enough. Keep going down.
Hello. And, okay. So it's not coming out of the desk loud enough, is that right?
Well,
It seems to be...
there's a gain staging...
oh, yes, all that stuff.
There is a gain staging argument to be had because there's multiple levels everywhere. So that should be all right. That should be doing all right, and we need to make sure the guitars aren't too loud. God, I'll be glad to get home, mate. Have a sit down.
Well, you've been busy doing this stuff. I've been busy doing the filming my board build.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
We're going to film that on Thursday.
Yes, that's the plan.
Dad's new pedal board. Is your microphone pointing adequately at you?
It is. I might just go.
Yeah, you want to be careful touching that. It would be blowing people's heads off.
Sorry.
Let me do it.
It's all right. I got it. There we go. That's pointed at my chest.
Yeah. Sorry about the pop in your ears there, people. Right, okay, enough of this flipping stuff. The irony of it is, having spent so long setting it up, no one wants to hear us play the guitar in these things anyway. They just want to talk about stuff, so that's good too.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all good. There's no huge downside there. To wit.
To woo. Does your watch always tell you to breathe?
Mine just barely tells the time adequately.
Man. My watch says breathe, and I'm like, leave me alone. Don't tell me what to do.
Cool. Everyone says it all sounds good, so we're happy. What we've done, just before we get into the questions, is... let me just work out how to switch these blimming cameras. It's really annoying.
Okay.
You should just be able to press 1 and 2, but that doesn't work.
No.
See, now what we've done is we've just gone off. Oh, yeah, it will work now.
Okay.
So, depending on what mode it's in, the function keys change. It's really annoying.
Really? Okay.
So if I turn this on, this Wonder Cam, if I press 2 now, it should switch to that one. Good.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's so good.
Right, what you should see there is our new old desk.
How awesome is that?
It's a Venice Midas
What's your T?
It's a Venice Midas from the mid-90s. It's all analog. We really, really wanted an analog desk, not a digital one, for obvious reasons. And what it means is we can now do live stuff and have a whole band and us plugged into that and be able to do the audio properly. I'm sure there are easier ways to do it using various
So good.
digital technology, but to be honest, we just want it to sound great. So, and of course, this will be a recording thing for us as well. So we're hoping that the live show gets a bit more involved, not for VCQ, but for special live shows with bands and guests, and actually bring some, God forbid, music to that pedal show.
Well,
I think we've all been missing quite a lot.
Indeed. So one of the really cool things, let's see. I've been talking to Matt Berry, whose new album was dropped yesterday, and it is superb.
Absolute 90s.
Absolute 90s. So, but his new album, Elephant Blue, Blue Elephant.
Elephant Blue.
Elephant Blue, is just awesome.
Sorry, literally the worst Matt Berry.
Now I can do it. Now I can do it. Yeah. So, want to get him on? Talk to Chris Buck, whose single went to the top of the rock charts. Actually, knocked my mate Noel off the top of the rock charts. So Chris Buck's new band, Cardinal Black, and text Chris today, and I said, Chris, we're going to do this live thing. You've got to come on. And he texts back and says, Mick just texted me the same thing. So it's going to be fantastic. We'll get some actual music in here and have some fun.
We are going to have to buy some limiters, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, even just your slight effusiveness there took us from barely inaudible to way into the red.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's my gift.
Well, that sounds expensive, doesn't it? Bought a drum kit yesterday. Felt a bit like the guy, or the girl, or they going into a guitar shop saying, I'll have an electric guitar, please. What do you mean I need an amp and pedals and cables? Bought the flipping tubs, and
they look amazing.
The big one and the two smaller ones. And I thought, wow, that's a good deal. For anyone interested, bought a Gretsch Renown maple in the kind of black oyster pearl finish. It looks really nice. 22 kick. It's going to be really nice. Anyway, of course, then what we need is a snare, some hats, crash and a ride, and a hardware kit. All that was way more than the kit.
Yeah, but we're going to have a Gretsch kit in here to rock out on. It's going to be awesome.
I'm going to put hours into learning how to play the drums, but don't worry, we are going to get proper drummers in. Right. Let's have a look then at what we've got today. Who we've got? Well, as usual, it did work. The thumbnail did work.
Oh, well done.
It's got a YouTube has a little googly thing in it which always rejects the thumbnail. Don't know why. It'll be our fault for sure, Dan.
I'm sure it is.
Anyway, to your questions. Here be Jacob Bartelt. And Jacob says, killer show on Friday. With a wet dry rig, can you run stereo delay and reverb too? I'm trying to figure out how to use all 4 jacks on the free Future Factory delay and R1 reverb and only have the QMX8. Thanks for all you do.
You can, but you have to run the stereo pedals after the QMX8.
Yeah.
Is the only way to do it.
So put all your other pedals before and then...
Split where you want to split.
Yeah. You can't do it with G3 and you can do it with G3 Atom. I'm pointing as if you can see it. That is, in fact, how I have my pedal board set up. Oh, look at this, Dan. It's a wandering camera with a 25mm lens. Nice, but it's not turned on. Or
there you go, it's working.
HDMI is not working. Right, so on here, you can see my lovely pedal board, and I have it all in G3 there. Those two, the Free the Tone Future Factory delay and the CXM78 reverb are in stereo because it does allow you to do that, because the loops in G3 Atom are all stereo capable. And I can run dual mono before that. In fact, you know what, Dan? Here's how that sounds.
I'm getting a little bit experimental with her playing because I've got my lesson, but they can't hear you tomorrow. Oh, they can't hear me. Stop putting all the good sounds on then if you need me to stop playing. Man, it just sounds unbelievable.
So yeah, what you got there is, what I was trying to demonstrate is the vent and the harmonious monk are in the 2-rock only, but the delay and reverb are stereo. You might have been getting some stereo, they're not, the two amp mics aren't panned hard right and left, so you wouldn't be getting the full stereo effect, but anyway, that's how that works. So if you do have a QMX8, Jacob, in order to do the stereo, you've kind of got to go out of the QMX8 mono, into the mono in of your which would be first, the Future Factory, and then stereo out.
Yeah, so you can still do the wet dry thing. You can split it using a loop, split it, and then go through the effects you want. So you've got your dry side and your wet side in the QMX. Then both of those go into the stereo input of your stereo delay and stereo reverb, and then out. So you'd have to do that one.
Good. Seems like the sound's going down well anyway, Dan.
Man.
I'm really pleased. It was a bit of a flyer today just to see if it would actually work or not, but especially with no monitoring. Hooray. And guest EQ. Literally.
That's always the best way
I
to
can't
do it.
hear it, so I just look at the slide at the EQ pots on the desk. I'm like, yeah, a bit of 10K, a bit of 3.2K. That's what we normally do. Cut at 200. And I can't wait to hear it back. I'm recording it, so which means there will be a podcast.
Oh, awesome.
It's
Well done.
it's like we've got in the Millennium Falcon and gone to the next. Anyway, we are going to have to hurry up on the super chats.
Okay.
Jacob follows up and says, Dan, this is Jacob Bartelt again. He says, Dan, you mentioned going back to a bigger board just recently. Would love to see the board build.
So that is happening. We'll be filming the show with the board on Thursday. I've just been filming the board build now, and it is fun.
Excellent.
Yeah, really does sound great.
Banjo had a baby.
Indeed.
After 3 years on the waiting list, I'll soon be able to order a King of Tone.
Hurrah.
I play a Sun Lion
Nice.
into an original Timmy.
Nice.
I'm swapping out the Timmy, so what can I expect? Disappointment to begin with is the first thing, because it would be interesting to compare a KOT with a Timmy. Timmy's got really great EQ section on it and some really nice clipping options, as all Timmy fans know. When you A/B the KOT against your other favourite overdrive pedal, it almost always sounds thinner,
Right.
which is what makes it so awesome.
Yeah.
So you'll go, oh, where have all my mids gone? Probably, when you swap it out. So you need to get used to that.
Yeah. But turn it up and everything just sort of levels out. And yeah, it's such a... You know, all that other stuff, all the mids, really, really great solos and that stuff. But, you know, if what you do is 95% rhythm playing, it's really hard to go past the King of Tone for that stuff. It just sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
You will... we sort of proved that in the show on Friday, that the way every time we stepped on the KOT, it just had a clarity that the others didn't have, didn't it? I think.
Yep.
So yes, Luke Gossett. Hello, Luke. He says, gents, I'm looking for a new neck pickup in a T-shaped object I put together.
Right.
I have a higher output lipstick in the bridge. Do you have any suggestions?
Okay, the neck pickup that is in Butters, I found the original neck pickup just way too dark, so I got the Analog Man Big T in that neck pickup, and it is beautiful. Now, whether or not it's going to have enough beef to work with, the high output lipstick, I mean, it should do. Better?
I'm not really sure. I think we're going to have to get really good at mic discipline.
Okay.
Yeah. Until we've worked
What am I
out-
doing wrong?
Until we've spent
Am I
20,000 on outboard gear.
awesome? Yeah, so Big T from Analog Man, really lovely pickup from Jason Lawler, that is. He winds those for Mike. Also, the pickup in red is a Don Mayer neck tally pickup, and it is divine. So there you go. There's two choices that should do you quite well.
Yeah, depending on how pokey that lipstick is, you might want something with a bit more grunt.
Stick a quarter-pounder neck pickup in there.
Yeah. They don't get much gruntier than that for a single coil. Seymour Duncan quarter pounder. Remember it with great fondness. Something like that. You could look at a Filtertronic type thing.
That'd be fun.
In a sort of La Cabronita Especial kind of way. you could look at, I mean, they're not higher output. In fact, they're lower output, but they do have a clarity and a really nice
They do.
thing about them. Some Filtertrons are, you can get much higher output ones, but another pickup which isn't high output but is good fun is a gold foil. Nice and can often be really clear sounding. Jason Lawler makes some really nice ones. The Charlie Christian type neck pickup you often see in tellies.
Tim Lurch uses a Charlie Christian neck, and he just has the best sound.
Yeah, it would you know, if you're putting together the guitar and you're going for something odd in the bridge, go for something odd in the neck as well.
Yeah.
Charlie Christian could be a great shout, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Question for you, Dan and Mick, from Tim Good. Point Break or Bad Boys 2?
Point Break. Because I've never seen Bad Boys 2.
I've never seen either of them, so...
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
Have you never shot a gun in the air and gone, R?
Is Point Break the one where Keanu Reeves is a surfer?
Yes.
Yeah, I've never watched it, but I know what it is.
It's really great.
Yeah.
And referred to all the time in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Really good.
Yeah. John Newquist, hey guys. Glorious tones on Fridays. I'm still riding high from that show. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, it was. It did sound pretty good, actually.
Yeah, lovely.
Interestingly, I was doing the audio for this week's show. This week we've done a deeper dive. Actually, it's not a deep dive. It's a comparison show looking at Universal Audio's new delay in comparison to a couple of other things, some original things. And sacrilegious to say so, Dan, I think the Supro and the Tone King work better together than the Two Rock and the Tone King.
Seriously?
Something about the way the mid-range combines.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you think when you hear the audio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
it's just not
interesting.
loud enough.
What isn't loud enough?
That amp. It only sounds good when it's loud.
Oh, of course. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just idling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not hardly
It's
on.
barely even on.
Yeah.
Sounds nice in here though. Nice and crisp and clear.
Beautiful.
Vibas Patil. Hello, Vibas.
Hello, Vibas.
He says, hi gents, I have a question about buffers. Get in the queue, Vibas. When it comes to standalone buffers, not the ones in pedals, how much of a difference is there between the ones made by different companies? For example, Gigrig, Sir, JHS, and so on.
I mean, there are differences. I think, you know, anyone that uses like nice low noise OPA type op amps, you know, they're pretty good as long as they've got enough headroom in them. Yeah, they're all pretty good. I mean, there's a big difference between a dedicated buffer and, let's say, a simple emitter follower, sort of single transistor thing that you can find in some pedals used as a buffer. But most of the buffer is a really super simple circuit using an op amp, which is a sort of differential amplifier. It's a really super simple circuit. There are different qualities of those op amps. Yeah, but if it's, they're all much of a muchness, I guess.
Are they a standard input and output impedance?
You can change it, and depending on the device that you're using.
Because presumably that'll have a significant effect on things like rolling the volume down and pedals before and after and all that.
Yeah.
So some research into that would help, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, if I sense there's still a lot of questions about buffers, I think it might be interesting to, I don't know, maybe in a live show we can make one, or do like or just do a show. I could do a vlog on one because it's a quick show. We don't spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, at the risk of having to turn everything down and up again, the buffers in that delay and the CXM have quite a substantial effect on my rig, which consider the balancing scales of annoyance, and I'm going to work around this. If they didn't sound so good, they'd be off the board.
Of course, yeah, of course.
But they sound so great, I'm willing to solve it somewhere else.
See, but there's a difference between a buffer and a preamp. And you know, a buffer has no gain in it, whereas a preamp, I mean, there'll be obviously buffers in those circuits as well, but there'll also be preamps to, you know, drive the signal, the color tone, and all that stuff as well. And
yeah, I mean, the biggest effect of it, Vibas, and if you want this, great. If you don't, not so great. I'm playing there with my overdrive. I turn the reverb on and everything gets bright.
yeah,
And that's what that buffer is doing, because it's dropping the output impedance. The tube screamer doesn't have to work quite so hard down the cable, and all of a sudden all the frequencies can get through without being impeded.
indeed.
Um,
And we can do, you know, well, worth looking into further because it's an interesting thing.
Brad Schultz, hello Brad, he says, do 2-in-1 pedals have to worry about an impedance relationship between the two circuits the same way two separate pedals would? Much love from Flagler Beach, Florida. I was wondering this on Friday.
Okay, yes, they do. The only thing is you've got the signal isn't going out and then going back in again. It's all enclosed. If you like, so for example, King of Tone, you've got two sides, right? If I turn off the side closer to the amplifier, then the side, the boost side, there's got to be enough output impedance to drive, you know, past that and out again. So it still needs to be, you know, low impedance on the output. That will very easily drive the pedal next in line, or indeed the pedal is in the same case. You just don't have to worry about it going out through a patch cable, but that's it. There still needs to be, if you turn off one pedal or turn off the previous pedal, you still need that low impedance output to drive everything else. So if I've got my boost set up, sorry, my overdrive and my boost, my overdrive goes into my boost. If I turn my boost off and I just have the overdrive on, the output impedance from the overdrive circuit still needs to be low to drive the cable.
And sorry, I was trying to keep on top of the comments there. Does that happen inside the pedal?
Yes, yeah.
It does. So
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're just two separate circuits. So it still goes through, you know, all the same stuff as you would have two separate pedals.
I had the same question as you. You know, is the, you know, going from low to high impedance again between the output of one and the input of the other some cause for that colossal difference in tone? Because they couldn't really have sounded more different.
Yeah. Someone put up a good point that the printed tone has got a 100k resistor across the pot, which means that it has got more gain at lower settings.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you pointed out, the King of Tone gets, you know, everything's at 2 at unity, and then it gets louder from there. The range is the same.
Yeah, but the taper is different.
Exactly.
Somebody commented, well, the knobs are all in different places. Of course they're going to sound different. I'm like, oh God, please watch the show. I've watched 30 seconds of this show and you're completely wrong. Totiso Canario 1
Bless you.
says, hi, why your TV shows don't have subtitles? I'm from Spain and with the help of YouTube Translate, I can understand.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. We've looked into it before. Subtitles are a thing that are basically a community-driven... basically what you have to do is, if you turn them on, YouTube sort of guesses. And they're quite,
with some hilarity.
It's horrific, actually. And then what can happen is they then, the way YouTube's business model is, all the world works for YouTube for free. YouTube takes that and sells it to advertisers. So YouTube's main capital is humans working for YouTube for free. So in the same way, the translation thing is thrown out to the floor, and you can turn it on and YouTube says, sure, if some dude wants to spend 5 hours of their time translating this, go for your life, mate. And I think we tried it once and I think it got a bit abused. So time has moved on. We should look at it again because clearly the Spanish speaking world is colossal, as are various Eastern languages that we get nowhere near.
Indeed.
It would potentially increase our reach.
Yeah, great.
Yes. Hello from Texas, says Mark Wilkinson. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
I'm sorry we didn't say hello to everyone from around the world. I was too busy trying to work out if it was working or not.
And it's working and glorious.
Seems to be.
Yeah, it's so good.
Hi from Newfoundland, Canada.
Is there an old Finland?
They never found it. Thank you. Come back. I'm here all week trying to feel. Josh Garland says hi from Newfoundland, and he's put in brackets how it should be pronounced. Canada, say your amps are reverbless, but you only have a delay or a reverb pedal on your board. What would you choose and why?
If I could only have a delay or a reverb, I'd have a delay, because I can get faux reverb sounds from a delay, and then all the delay sounds as well.
Before having the CXM 1978 reverb from Chase Bliss, I would have said a delay every day of the week. Now I would say the CXM 1978, because I'm not very good at delay. I sort of use it as a sticking plaster, and I'm learning more about delay as time goes on in terms of how to really creatively use it in your playing. What I very naturally go towards, and the sounds I like the most, are those short room reverbs, which have a very short delay sort of thing about it.
Yep.
And I really, really, really love that sound. So I would go, if the CXM 1978 didn't exist, it would be a delay. The fact that it exists, it is now that. And I'm going to have to get one of those knob guards for it, because when we start going out again, it'll be me spilling the drink in it. Ian Fan. Hi, Ian.
Hello, Ian.
Love you guys. We love you, Ian. He says, I'm waiting on my G3 to arrive in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Is it possible to do MIDI with both the Source Audio Collider and my Chase Bliss Bloom, which has a TRS cable? Can you do MIDI in both of those pedals?
It can do, but you'll need a device that turns the standard 5-pin DIN MIDI out of G3 to MIDI to TRS. But they're, man, Chase Bliss make them, I think Walrus make them, loads are available. The Chase Bliss one is one that I use, and it's wonderful. But MIDI is really interesting, because everyone knows the 5-pin DIN configuration. But there's like 3 signals, which is why the TRS connector has become quite common for MIDI. So yeah, we decided to stick with the standard 5-pin DIN, because there's lots of things that still use that as standard, and you have the solution then for a 5-pin DIN to TRS.
What's MIDI 2.0 going to use?
Bluetooth and all that stuff.
I was going to make a blue teeth gag and couldn't really think of one. Do you clean your dog's teeth?
I do.
Is he all right with it?
So, yeah, we have those little finger puppets.
There you go.
And we do that.
I'm in there with a brush trying to do it, and she's like, I'm just going to chew that.
No.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Jason Sears says, how about a show entitled Perfect Pairings, where Mick and Dan consider the best pedals for classic amp types, Fender, Vox, Marshall, Mesa, etc.
I love that. It's really good.
Yeah, I would like to disprove some of them as well. Because, everyone knows a treble booster sounds good into an AC30, except when I play it. I've heard some truly horrific tube screamers into super reverbs down the years.
Yeah, man, totally.
So, in traditional that pedal show fashion, I was thinking this morning, Dan. I often think in the mornings because of the dog and that sort of thing.
Just so Mick and I went for a walk last week, early in the morning, up a mountain. And is it a mountain?
It's a hill.
Glorious hill. And oh man, how I needed that. Thank you for that. That was just awesome. We just had the best. Just walking the dog up this. Nick lives in a very spectacular part of the country, and lots going on. at the moment for me. Be moving house soon, I think, and just all the stress that brings. And we said, come down, we're going to go for a walk. And we did, took the dog for a walk, and wow, it was so lovely.
It's been a big deal for me, I have to say. You know, getting to do that, I don't know, every other day or whatever, or every day sometimes. But I really want to make it our mission to tell people that pedals don't sound like anything.
Yeah.
You know, you said it right from the beginning of TPS.
They don't have a sound.
They don't have a sound. So that question, what does this pedal sound like? It really does require significant extra context. And if we leave this mortal coil with anything useful, Dan, it should be that.
Yep.
Where people don't go, what does this pedal sound like anymore? They'll say, what was this pedal going to sound like with my Marshall?
Yep, and my Tele.
Yeah.
Or, you know, my Novo and my Deluxe Reverb.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, Jason, that's a good idea. It would be great to get into that and turn it on its head a bit. Christian Muller. Hi, Christian. He says, hello, I broke my Russian pickle.
You okay?
Yeah. How you doing? Did you get thrown out? That's the question. Suggestions for a Russian-style muff, or should I just get another Russian pickle?
So the Way Huge Russian Pickle was great, and if you really like that one, there are loads of other ones, but gee, they all sound different. If you really like that one, I'd suggest getting the same one. However, let's see. Electro-Harmonics do their version now as well, so worth having a look at that. But I think that's an awesome sounding thing.
It's like your head, like your head is the pedal.
Come for the education, stay for the entertainment.
We watched Catherine and I watched the Laurel and Hardy movie.
Oh, I love that film.
With, is his name John C. Reilly?
John C. Reilly and Steve Coogan.
And Steve Coogan, yeah. And it's a tough watch in parts, isn't it? Because
really
it's, you know, it's these two people whose careers have gone over the top of the hill, and there have been some, you know, they've been great. They've been the best there is.
Yeah.
And, you know, now it's all starting to go off a bit, and I'm watching it going, oh no. Anyway, Stan Laurel, he's just always for the gag. Always.
Yeah.
The gag.
Yeah.
And there's some really lovely moments in it where, you know, it's a sad situation or something bad has happened, and he's always gone for the gag.
It is the philosophy. Always go for the gag.
Always go for the gag. I think Eric Morecambe would have done the same thing. Just in case. Yeah, get another Russian pickle, Christian. Although there are quite a few people talking about that Russian muff thing, aren't there? Like, I don't know if it might be worth looking to one of the more boutique-y type brands, like someone like
DAM, David Castmain.
Yeah.
Does an amazing rough muff.
What's the company I'm thinking of? Guy with the long hair and a beard. Death by Audio.
Death by Audio. Ah, yeah.
These guys, I don't know if they do anything. Jupiter effects.
Yeah, right.
There's a few brands like that we're not really.
Skirting on the edges of.
Who we need to do more with.
Yep.
And then there's another brand that does loads of good fuzzes, like Earthquaker.
Yeah.
We don't do enough Earthquaker stuff, and some of those brands are really interesting. But as Dan said, if you like it, just get another one.
Yeah.
Or even better, get another one and something else.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I know Josh used to do a mod to the Electro-Harmonics ones. I don't know if he still does that, but they sounded great.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good options out there, but I think the Way Huge one, straight out of the box, sounds terrific.
Yeah. They've reissued the Red Llama, haven't they?
Oh, yeah.
For an anniversary or something.
I found my clone of that Thorpe built for me pre-Thorpe Effects days when I first met him. And what a great circuit.
I would like to do a show on those effects, Daniel.
Okay.
for those of you who don't know, the Red Llama, I think there was a pedal designed by somebody called Craig Anderton or Anderson,
Right.
depending on which gear page you go to. His was the original one that uses that blimmin' great long chip
With loads of gain stages in it.
with all the bits in it.
Yeah.
So there's no op amps or anything like that, and there's no, I don't think there's any diode clipping or anything. What you're hearing is the transistor, multiple stages doing things.
Yep.
And that Craig Anderton, whatever it was called, was that.
Right.
The Red Llama is that.
Yes.
And this is that as well, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, really?
My down drive Tweedy.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
That is that. And then something else is that. Josh. Mythos.
That is so cool.
Mythos pedals.
Yes.
It's either the Chupacabra or it's another one. He does one as well with that great big... And I think that would make an interesting show because it's such a different way to do an overdrive pedal.
Yeah. Just loads and loads of cascading gain stages.
Yeah, and
really cool.
And they're really well loved, aren't they? So,
yeah, the Red Llama, I mean, I've used it as a boost for years and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Justin Baylog. Hi, Justin.
Hello,
he says, Legends, I picked up a wetter box to blend big reverbs in parallel with delay via expression pedal. Do you have any tips? And thanks for everything that TPS does.
Yeah, sure. So if you've got... It depends on... okay, tip is put the delay in loop A and the reverb in loop B and set the you can either blend between the two or you can have A on full and then mix the reverb on top of A. Try it like that. Get the delay sounding how you want and then just blend the parallel reverb on top of the delay. And it really is a wonderful, wonderful sounding thing. Yeah. Okay.
Eddie Clark. Hello, Eddie. Thanks for your question. Eddie Clark says, how much for Dan to switch to a red hat with a white pom-pom? Do you do holiday parties? I want to book in advance. Happy Monday from Canada. We don't want to take your money, and the Santa jokes are all good, but we did... Dan's rocking a hat.
I'm liking hats.
And I think you rock it. So, on the subject of a red hat with a white accoutrement,
Yep, let's go.
I think you should don the Fez of Truth.
Okay, the Fez of Truth.
There it is.
I feel like just one massive nipple tassel.
Put it forward a bit. So we're gonna prove the Fez of Truth works. Dan, what's your favourite guitar?
Telecaster.
Dan, what's your favourite guitar?
Stratocaster.
Dan, what's your favourite guitar?
Telecaster.
You see?
Whoa! Do you wear that or do you wear it jaunty?
I think it depends if you're going down the town. Anyway, sorry, I've totally spoilt Dan's cool look because Eddie wanted to see Dan with a red hat with white accoutrement. So
I like it.
I think the Fez is much more becoming than the Santa garb. And it's not seasonal.
The Fez isn't seasonal.
No. It's like if you did the Santa thing all year round, people would think you were really weird.
Yeah.
But I think you could rock the Fez in Sainsbury's on a Thursday any month, couldn't you?
I could. I wouldn't have to worry about social distancing.
Yeah.
People just keeping their distance naturally from any man in a Fez. I think that's, really great.
Those of you who know anything about Fezes, can you let us know? I actually prefer the black tassel to the white one, but I don't know if there's anything significant in its meaning. So those of you who know Fezes, they may be a standard garment in your country. Please educate us on Fezes. Fezes probably isn't even the right plural, is it? They're probably
Fezzoir.
fi.
I like it.
I think it's good. Let's see if it works again. What's your favourite overdrive pedal?
King of Tone.
Take it off. What's your favourite overdrive pedal?
Tube screamer.
Totally works. You can have that for free, Eddie. Craig Stanton. Hey guys, I picked up a 65 custom shop telly in Fire Mist Gold. Yes,
Oh,
you
man.
did. Did I see that advertised? I thought I saw that advertised somewhere. And a hand-wired deluxe reverb. Oh my God. The combination of which is magic. Question about treble bleeds. Does Dan use them in his tellies? What is your philosophy?
Okay, so interestingly, when I got this telly, it had a treble bleed in it,
Shiver.
but it wasn't factory.
Right.
So I went in there and took it out and started playing. I'm like, it sounds duller. I'm not happy with it. I put the treble bleed back in, still sounded dull.
Oh, right.
And it freaked me out. So I tried different pickups and all this sort of stuff, but the sound that the guitar had when I first got it just sort of disappeared. The other day,
And there's a reveal coming.
right? The other day, I thought, okay, these are the original pickups that came with it. They're really old Fender pickups, actually older than 65. Whoever had this guitar had some old pickups and put it in here. But they've been rewound. And anyway, it sounded lovely. The other day, I had an intermittent thing going on with my selector switch. And so I went out, I grabbed some Servasol, I sprayed the selector switch, plugged back in, it was like, oh man, all the top end was back.
No way.
Yep. So oxidization in between here, in between the contacts of the selector switch, was causing like loads and loads of top end loss. Couldn't believe it. So, no, I do not use a treble bleed circuit in my Telecasters. I do, however, bypass the tone control for the neck pickup. That is one thing I've done on... Actually, I haven't done it on Butters because the neck pickup, and that's really bright, but I do it on Red and I do it on 65. There's no tone control on the neck pickup because I just love that tiny bit more presence and air
Yeah.
with have that removed, and it's just
No load.
but
yeah.
but no treble bleed.
Neither of us likes treble bleeds because I think we both grew up playing guitars without them and getting used to what happens without them.
Yeah.
So when you have one, it's all a bit weird. So by all means, if your problem is you're playing the guitar, you've got lovely sound, and then you turn it down, it all just goes too dark, by all means look at a treble bleed. Before you do that, try a absolutely non-coloured clean boost, or a coloured one if you want, but something that's super clean sounding, so it doesn't change your core tone, which you love so much. Stick that on and then turn the guitar down, and what you'll find is all that lovely high end and presence and everything else stays, in my opinion, far nicer than a treble bleed. You get way more usable range out of your pots when you do it that way.
Yeah, but the other thing to consider, there are treble bleeds and there are treble bleeds. So if you just put a capacitor across the the resist of the pot, then that's one sound. But then if you start adding resistors in parallel and in series, it's a whole other thing. So do some research and find there are treble bleeds that are much less intrusive. Like one of my favourite clean sounds ever is Andy Timmons, and he has treble bleeds on all of his guitars.
He does both things though. He also has a boost pedal turned on.
Yeah, totally.
As well.
Yeah.
So he gets really super sparkly.
Well, his clean sound is a blues driver, really gainy, and then treble bleed turned down here, and it's like, anyone that's heard Andy do the clean thing is just astonishing.
Indeed. I want to demonstrate this actually. Right, I'm going to turn Super Chat off. Anyone who's Super Chatted, thank you very much. We will get to you by the end of this show, but I need to turn it off because there's quite a lot to get through. So we'll just refresh that so I'll make sure I've got them all. And boom. So thanks to everyone who super chatted. We will get to you today. With any luck. Right, Dan.
Yes, mate.
So I'm going to demonstrate this with a Strat. Bad Bob not here? No, it's on the other board.
Mm-hmm.
Is it down there? Right, what other clean boosts have we got?
There's a Spark there. There's... do we have an EP? Actually, that's not really...
Beano? No, that
No.
takes too much. We've got a room full of flipping... I know which one I'm going to use.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Here is a booster pedal. It's the Free the Tone final booster. So it is super not very coloured.
Right.
I'm going to put it in place of my tube screamer. Hey Dan,
Yes, mate.
you should film this really.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. 1 second. 1 second, please. Call up. That's for you. I'll take that.
No, you
No.
hold the camera.
Okay. Sorry, the feathers getting in the way. The
Yeah,
tassels.
it's
You know.
good for flies, not so good for effects pedals. Ready?
Ready.
All right, there we go then.
This is like effects pedal can.
So I'm going to put it in the place of my tube screamer. Off you come. Now,
Where's the...
it's the wrong shape.
Oh, okay.
It's really important that it's in a loop of G3 because it is non-true bypass.
Right.
So turning it on and off would have much less effect than it were at true bypass. But here we go then. Back to the program, mate.
That's fun.
What the other camera?
Yeah.
So Strat. I'm going to explain what I do before I do it because otherwise the guitar amps will blow out the voice mics. The final booster is in loop 2 of my G3.
Loop 2 or foot switch 2?
Foot switch 2 is on foot switch 2 of my G3, which Dan will show you in a sec. I'm going to play clean with it turned off, and then I'm going to turn the volume down, and you should hear it get a bit darker. Then I'm going to turn it on and show you what happens. hopefully that worked. Hopefully you had guitars and no voices.
I just want to do this all the time now. Like, I don't play guitar anymore. I want to walk around with the camera, going up to people like this.
Okay, you go then. Do that again. Extreme close-up.
Extreme close-up. Whoa!
So what you heard there was, when I did it first, the boost wasn't even turned on, but it was in the signal path. Because it's non-true bypass, it is buffering, right? So you were hearing just the effect of the buffer, and that was enough to make my Strat stay glassy and clean with the volume turned down. No treble bleed required. With it turned on, just more of that. So that's my petition to say, don't get a treble bleed. Use something with a decent buffer in it, either on or off as a boost, and let that do the work for you. Then you don't have to sully your guitar. I prefer the sound of it as well. I prefer the effect of that over a treble
Going a
bleed.
bit darker. Oh, no, you mean going through the buffer?
Yeah, because a treble bleed stops treble frequencies being bled to ground.
Yes.
That's what a treble bleed circuit does. That bolsters everything right across the frequency spectrum.
Yeah.
And I just like that.
Sure.
Well, I think that worked, Dan.
Yeah, well done.
Look at that. The whole point of doing this was we could demonstrate stuff. Nice. Let's just see if anyone did actually get that. They'll be like, oh no man, your guitar audio was off throughout the whole thing.
Sounds epic. Dan looks like the weird kid from American Beauty with the camera.
The audio setup is
So much beauty.
sick.
So much beauty, I can't stand it.
You move your chair, Dan.
Oh, I didn't.
Did you not?
No.
Oh man.
I'm right in.
Todd Roy says, hey Mick, has the search for the vintage guitar been put off because of the purchase of the drum kit, or is there any news? There is a deal that may or may not happen, and it's just some time needs to elapse. So it's still on the cards, and
We're just not going to push it.
not going to push it.
Yeah.
Not least because I'm not in a very Strat mood at the moment. I'm much more enjoying hollow guitars, so I'm letting it be what it is.
Yeah.
And then if the opportunity arises, then I shall do it and be very happy. And if it doesn't, I'm not gonna sweat it. The drum set, yeah, that was. TBS bought the drum set, so I didn't have to pay for it.
Jane Manson says this audio setup is so sick. I just can't say that enough.
Thank you,
That's
thank you.
So good. I'm so glad this has worked.
That means a lot to me.
Analog, baby. Apart from everything digital that's going through. Analog.
Yeah, I think it's working. Daniel Johnson, please don't tell me the guitar audio was off during the whole thing. Please don't tell me it was.
No, you had him up.
Is he just joking?
I believe so. I hope so.
Oh, that would be not funny.
No.
Oh, Buzz Crumhunger says, so bright and buffery.
Yep,
there you go. That's how it works. Oh, Daniel Johnson, go to the back of the class. Face the corner. Oh, God.
BV's deleted it.
He's
on it.
We've got a lot of catching up to do.
Okay.
Russian Pickle, Wetterbox, Red Hat, Custom Shop Telly. Top of the Bunday to you, says Albus Band. Hello, Aaron. Hope all's well. What four-piece super band of past players would you make for a day? For example, Hendrix, SRV, Bonham and Jacko.
Oh, man. Boy, oh, boy. Okay. You go. I mean, I just don't want to get XTC together, but they're all still alive. And they're all living in the same town. Why it doesn't happen is beyond me. I would get Alan Holsworth. I would get Who are you looking up?
I'm just making sure I've got the name right.
Okay. Okay. Gene Krupa.
Oh, nice.
I would get. You go.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe.
Well played.
James Jameson. Just for shits and giggles, Jeff Porcaro.
Oh, no.
And yeah, of course. Him.
Don't say Kenny Kirkland because he's mine.
No. The guy in Deep Purple.
Oh, John Lord.
John Lord. Actually, John Lord might not be dead.
So, yeah. So, Alan Holdsworth, Gene Krupa, Kenny Kirkland, who could play bass with his keys, and Miles Davis.
Nice. Very nice.
That would be awesome.
John Lord is indeed not with us anymore. So there we go. Nice question, Aaron. Christian Muller says, looking for a fuzz face, Dunlop JHF1 versus a sun face. Watch our most recent fuzz video where you can hear them both. Practicality wise, sun face every day of the week. Then you just have to do the sort of mental anguish that is choosing the transistors.
Yeah.
The JHF one is really good, really good. The big one, the small one, I don't love as much, but the big one I really do love. And who's to say they're all the same? Because they won't be, because of the transistors. Sunface. Because you've got the bias knob, you've got the internal resistance knob. So it's more versatile. It's not a pain in the butt. Get it with a power jack and the sundial on the outside, and all your problems go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful thing.
Banjo had a baby again. Advice for a first-time recorder with a cheap audio interface to record an instrumental version of Midnight on the Interstate by Trampled by Turtles. This is for my bride to walk down the aisle to in August.
Are you looking for recording tips? What's the question?
So, he's getting married in August.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
And there's a song called Midnight on the Interstate by Trampled by Turtles.
Okay.
And he wants to record it.
His version of it.
His version of it.
Right.
And so far, he's got a cheap audio interface.
Okay.
Doesn't matter that your audio interface is cheap.
No, not at all.
What matters is that the sound you're putting into it is not cheap. Metaphorically speaking. It might be in, pound notes, but not in terms of sound quality and the kind of sound you want. When is it? September, August. Have a go. Get going. I wouldn't do this with all this recording gear and all the knowledge in my brain. I wouldn't do it. I would pay somebody really good to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's for me flipping wife. The last thing she wants to hear is me playing the guitar.
But it might be that she wants to hear him playing guitar.
If she wants to hear you playing the guitar, do it.
Yeah. Just start doing it. Have a go.
Yeah.
And you'll soon learn. You'll have a listen back and go, oh, that doesn't sound great, and then you'll go and there's so many tutorials online that will take you through every part of the process. If what you want to do is get better at recording, then do that. What I would do is pay someone who knows what he's doing to come in and record me.
There you go. Get some help on the technical side. Because if you don't do a lot of recording, getting your head into the recording mode and into the guitar mode is almost impossible to
really
do,
tricky.
Side by side. So yeah, get someone to come in and push the buttons.
The issue is if you have a really good performance and you haven't managed to record it well, it's so hard.
It's dispiriting.
It really, because so if you get someone who knows what he's doing, and just for a couple of hours to come and pushing buttons to get the recording levels up
Yeah.
right and make sure everything's clean. You concentrate on the performance.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Doesn't, and again, Dan sort of hinting at it there, it doesn't have to be anything, you know, they don't have to be an expert. It can be as simple as pressing stop and start on the machine, which honestly, when you're sat there in the middle of a take and you've got to stop, get up, it's really annoying.
Yeah. I try to do vocals on the weekend.
I said, come here and I'll do them for you.
Thank you.
I said that.
You did say that. But I'm trying to do everything at home. That's the whole purpose of the vlog, is to try and do it all at home. But I think I'm going to have to. Oh, man, you know what? What else? I got to part of the song. I thought, okay, let's. I just need a line here. I just need to rewrite a line. That was me for the whole day. Yeah. Sat down trying to write a lyric. Far out, man. You've got to be a composer, a poet, all the stuff to make that work. You know, a performer. Boy, oh boy, songwriters. People who can write great songs and perform great songs, I think they're just incredible. I'm in total awe of them.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing, isn't it?
It really is.
Part of it's confidence, because I mean, a lot of lyrics
So
are
much is
really
confidence.
awful, aren't they? You listen to a lot of lyrics, just trash, and having the confidence to go, actually, yeah, that'll do. I'm done. Move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Todd Roy says, Mick, Rick Beato has a nice series on tuning drums. Very important to learn how to do that. Thank you, Todd. I've watched more drum videos than I care to mention over the weekend. Don't worry, we will get people who really know drums in to do these things.
Yeah.
I have decided that I do like a low tune snare, though. Yeah. Yeah. Phil Taylor, Cliff Burton, Malcolm and Elvis, says Theory of Mine on the Four People. Nice.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Brook Adventure says, I work in one of the high street second-hand stores and today bought a 1975 B&M Fuzz pedal.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, they called it the Bum Fuzz, didn't they?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's the same one that I had on the the first board that I did for Ed. There was a B&M Fuzz on that, and it was just, everyone commented, it was like, what on earth is that thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Too cool.
And don't tell me you paid 20 quid for it or something.
Never played anything like it. It gave me an instant Sabbath tone. Have you guys ever used one? Well,
yeah. They're extraordinary. Well done, mate.
Nice. Nice when that happens, isn't it? Please do an episode with Wide Range Humbucker, says Ian Burns. It's on the way.
It is on the way. Carl sent me some more pictures instead of a video of the guitar. It's all been routed out. And yeah, he said to me in the weekend, I'm assuming you want 50s wiring and no insulation. And I said, correct and correct. I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Very cool. Ramiro Oscar says, love the show, gents. All this talk about Strats. What do you think about the Nashville Telecaster? Is it too much odd? So Nashville Tele, 3 pickups.
Oh, okay.
Has a middle pickup.
So I'm assuming they do, yeah, for that in-between sound. And they're really, really cool. But I just, 2 pickups is enough for me. Probably more than enough, really.
Yeah, I think it's well, there are many schools of thought, but there are 2 schools of thought. One says, I just want one guitar that does lots of things. Versatility is important to me. And there's the other school of thought, which I think me and Dan probably both are, which is like, and us, the versatility is literally the last thing I want. I just don't want that.
My 64 Strat that got stolen, so when I bought it, it was in bits, and the bridge pickup was missing, right? And I tried everything in that bridge pickup. Nothing sounded as good as a middle and neck pickup. So I just left the middle one empty, put the middle pickup in the bridge, and I had a 3-position thing on the
cool
on the Strat.
Richard Blackmore style.
It was a vision of things to come.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, they obviously work for lots of people, don't they? Nashville Tele people really love it, and it's it's going to be very different from a Strat sound, but it's going to be that version of the Tele's version of the Strat sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool things. I think they sell pretty well, don't they? Jolly good. Nina Head DJ says, have we lost some of the super chats? It seems to have vanished. Well, funnily enough, Nina Head DJ, hi from Astoria, Oregon, gents. Any update yet re UAFX and Gig Rig Power? By the way, Dan, you're making me want to sell my guitars and buy a pre-CBS telly.
Do it. Yes, 12 volts, the Supernova. UA have come out and said they've tested all the stuff with the Supernova and it works great. I'm powering it off Supernovas and they work fantastic. We're looking at some other solutions as well, but yes, I got the word from Tor and they've done all the tests and stuff and they said they're very happy to recommend the 12 volt solution.
Great.
Yeah, there you go.
And just to add to that, it's not the current draw, is it? It's the startup that was the issue. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's sort of hit and miss whether it's sort of so on the edge. But with the 12 volt, of course, you know, more voltage requires less current, and so just
and it's happy to
we're
take
very
it.
very happy,
Cool.
very happy. Yep, so
that works
great.
then. So you can buy a Supernova. S. Crawford Music. Guys, what are your favourite fuzz face style pedals that have a small enclosure? Do you like the mini ones from Dunlop? Love the intro, Dan. Thanks to you both.
Oh, bless you. The fuzz face that I keep going back to is the Analog Man Sun Face. Is that mine? No, that's yours. So I got mine from Mike last time we saw him, and it just, man alive. I've always struggled with fuzzes with the telly, and it really wonderful. So yeah, red dot NKT, sun face with a little bias pot on the front. Just absolutely glorious. I love it to bits.
Gonna recommend some others for you. Marcus Reeves.
Ah, yeah.
In the UK makes the most astonishing pedals. In fact, Dan, would you take the back off that? I'll get you a screwdriver.
Okay.
While I do the other two pedals. There's me saying I'll get you a screwdriver. I don't know where the screwdriver is.
So while Mick gets a screwdriver, sorry, the amps are off. I was going to play some stuff. Yes, Carl Lockhart says, do a show on the UAFX. We've already done it, and it will be airing this Friday.
It's only the delay. It's only
Just
the delay.
yeah, just the delay. We've used the reverb in some other shows, and the reverb's glorious. And we had a look at the delay. We pulled out a tape delay and a memory man. Oh, that's the Voyeur series, right? So funny. So the reason that Mick wants me to take the back off this is that Marcus has a unique way of putting a pedal together. And I saw it on Instagram and I reached out to him and said, this is incredible. I haven't seen anyone do it like this. Just check out the construction on this. It is absolutely just stunning. Absolutely stunning. How close can you get? I mean, you've heard about point to point. That is point to point. No circuit board. The components are literally.
Cover up Dan's face. Nope.
No.
It's got to be the pedal that covers up Dan's face. Yeah, I think you can see it. There you go.
Look at
So
that.
I think he does one called a 2N2 face, might be. Marcus Reeves is the name there. Analog Man Sun Face, which would be our everyday, high quality, superb option with lots of different options. I also held up the Jam Pedals Fuzz Phrase. That was a special edition one, but they do a standard one, which is excellent. Germanium Fuzz Face. And I also held up the Jesse Davey Mini Fuzz GE, which also does a good zonk machine as well. It has a different mode. Mm-hmm. And the reason that we would recommend those, I mean, obviously Dan Drive, but his wait list is insane. But the reason we recommend those over the mini Dunlop ones, and this is a bit controversial, I think with a proper fuzz face, it absolutely has to be a traditional circuit and components. It has to be. The minute you modernise it, miniaturise everything, do all of that, it's not the same thing, which isn't to say they don't sound cool. The Hendrix Band of Gypsies fuzz sounds really cool, the little mini one. I remember doing a demo of it years ago, really loving the sound of it. But if what you want is a proper fuzz face that does all the things that a fuzz face does, any of those four we've just mentioned would be up there.
Indeed.
There's loads. There are so many good ones on the market.
And part of the reason it's such a simple circuit.
I think Pedal Porn do a good one.
Pedal Porn fuzz is awesome.
Really, really good. So yeah, there's a lot out there. Prog Doggy. Is that like woofing in 5/4, is it? He says, any tips on how to get the most out of a Strat? I just got a Dale Wilson Ironwood Masterbuilt on a deal. I couldn't say no, but I've never been a Strat guy.
I'm desperate for Mick to make this video. Just saying, I'm just putting it out there.
It's so tough. This is advice for any and all guitars, right? If you're familiar with guitar A and you want to start playing guitar B, we've all been there. I remember doing it with my first Les Paul. I'd only ever really played Strats in anger. Had a few other things. And then I got a Les Paul and I was like, wow, this is awful. You know?
Yep.
Because
what was that?
something was about to shut down.
Oh, okay. Oh, well done.
And it's not because it's awful, it's because you have learned to interact with this guitar type in a way that doesn't work with the other guitar types. So how to get the best from Strat? Let it be a Strat. And there's a couple things that I would encourage you to try. Traditionally speaking, I would imagine you've received it with a traditional setup, which will be with the bridge floating up a bit.
This is a show.
It may have the tone control on the bridge pickup. In any case, play with those 2 and 4 positions. Get it into a cleanish amp. Add some sort of boost, be it a mid-rangey one like a Klon or Tube Screamer, not quite so cool in this situation, but something that's got a bit high end, and just play some triads on those 2 and 4 positions. No other guitar does it like a Strat.
No.
It's a beautiful thing.
Indeed.
So start there, then do some neck pickup noodlies. You know? Because no other guitar does that. And what you sort of get used to the springiness of it and the woodiness of it and all those things that a Strat does really well. You need loads of reverb. You must have reverb.
No reverb, no happy.
No reverb, no happy.
No reverb, no happy.
We're looking at designs for that T-shirt today. We're just about to sign off on a couple. And then I would strongly suggest you get into Tube Screamer world and get something like an 808 or a Mini Tube Screamer is really good, really cost effective, into a Fender style amp. Turn the amp up, turn the Tube Screamer up volume wise, hit that neck pickup and just understand what it is about Strats that make it like no other guitar in that position. Don't be afraid of the bridge pickup.
Please do a shot.
You'll play it and you'll go, what I need in here is a more powerful pickup. But it's like, no. What you need is more volume and you need to hit the guitar and a fuzz face. Then that bridge pickup really will start to make sense. Similarly, any nice kind of, any overdrive pedal, it starts off sounding thin and then you're like, no, it doesn't sound thin. It's got good cut and good bite. And that's what that bridge position on a Strat does.
I just wish there was a YouTube-based pedal show that would, with a really great Strat player that could demonstrate all of these things.
Yeah, maybe. I can't face all that. No, you don't do that.
No.
Yeah, why don't you have a treble bleed? And anyway, that's what I would suggest you do. If you're coming from a telly, it will feel a bit weak. And if you're coming from a Les Paul, it will feel like a different species of instrument.
Sure.
Let it be a Strat.
Yes.
Let it be a Strat, and don't expect it to do the things that your other guitars do. And what the great knock-on from that is that will take you into places with your playing that you haven't been before.
Sound Propeller Patrick says, this Strat advice is a show. The Perilous Temple, the Strat thing is a show. Everyone wants the show.
Okay.
Just saying.
All right. As long as we put a massive disclaimer at the start.
People have spoken.
I hope that helps, Prog Doggy, and congratulations on that guitar. It sounds
congratulations, mate. That's
really
great.
cool. You don't say if it's a maple neck or a rosewood board one. I treat those guitars differently. I think there's some things that the maple board guitars do better than the rosewood ones. The rosewood ones, if it's a slab rosewood board, that's those positions 2 and 4 sweet John Mayerisms. That's, look at Dan, he can't help himself. Wooly Fox, he says, do you have any experience with Charlie Christian style pickups? Does it work well with fuzz and boost pedals and not just jazz?
That's a really interesting question. So my very dear friend and guitar teacher, Mark Johns, has a Charlie Christian pickup in his Telecaster and uses it with loads of effects, and it does sound awesome.
Yeah, I don't have any personal experience, so I will concur.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one, but yeah, I've heard it do many things, and it's a absolutely killer choice for a Tele pickup.
I think the fact that quite a few of your more hip type modern guitar brands are putting them in things would suggest that it does some cool things. So Collings will use them in the neck of a 290. Who did I see the other day? Maybe someone like Novo or that brand that Anderson's has just started doing, which are really cool. Can't remember. Anyway, just really funky, cool guitars.
Nice.
So yeah, one would suggest it's not just jazz. Not that jazz is not cool and funky, in case I was going there. I use a colour driver, thanks to TPS, says Guitar Moog, as a clean boost into a Fillmore 50 with lots of drive and get just the most awesome volume control cleanup.
Yes, yes.
I understand the fuzz cleanup thing, but why does it work so well on amp distortion? That is a great question.
Yeah. Well, it's again, it's gain stages. So if you think about your boost, your color driver, and transistor boost, and the way those gain stages are working together, when you reduce the signal going into the color driver, it will stop limiting in that way, but you still get all that lovely top end and everything from the color driver. And then that will, and when you get it down to a point where the amp stops limiting, you've got all that lovely color or personality or character from the color driver, but with the reduced level going into the amplifier, and then that stops limiting as well. It's a great way to do it.
Dan's going to demonstrate how nice the color driver is on cleanup. So just do excuse us while we make it happen. This will be the last you hear from me.
Oh, I'm not plugged in.
Oh no! Oh no, Dan! One thing I'm interested in, obviously the amps aren't overdriving as per your question, but one thing I'm interested in is what happens if you turn a buffer on after it now?
Oh, okay.
Go for it. With apologies if the loud bit was really loud there. He had the volume down all the way through, so I didn't really know how loud it was going to be when you went up. But yeah, so even though it wasn't into an overdriving amp, the color driver thing, it really is going to depend where the overdrive in your amp is set, because if you've got like I don't know, a diesel whatever set to super mega gain, then no rolling off of the color driver is going to clean that up. But if the amp is into sort of kind of nice vintage overdrive and then you just pull a bit of the front end out of that, then it will clean up.
And that's where the color driver works so incredibly well.
Yep. Very nice.
Yep.
Nice, Dan, nice. Sorry, when I first turned the CXM on, I didn't. I turned the delay on, so apologies for the confusion. What you were hearing to begin with was the delay, and then I turned the CXM on at the end, the reverb as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Jolly good.
Jolly good.
David Rustad.
Hello, David.
I caved in and shelled out for a Muga Fuga MF103. I needed a break from MXR and Boss. I recently grabbed the Mojo Hand FX Mr. Q, and I love the Jam Ripple. Had the Walrus Lillian. Which phaser haven't I tried that I need to?
Who is doing an MP1 phaser? Who is doing like the old Maestro MP1? There must be someone doing a version of that, because that, for me, there was a company years ago, what were they called? Something about Moon. It'll come to me. Moon Phase.
Oh yeah. The Moon.
Yeah, but not the Red Witch.
Yeah.
It's a different one.
Yeah. He was the guy who used to do Keeley.
Yes, he did Keeley, exactly.
Yeah.
David Cartwright, I think.
Yeah, good.
How can I remember that? I can't remember
what day of the week it is.
No, but that's there. Far out. But he called me one day. He says, "What's your favourite phaser?" And I was in my MP1 phase. I said, MP1. He says, "Okay." And then a couple of weeks later, the version of that turned up, which I still have. It's awesome.
Okay.
But I don't know anyone else that's doing that version of it. It's a very hi-fi sounding phaser. Man, there's so many amazing ones. Have you tried just the small stone?
Oh yeah, nice.
Small stone phasers are sensational.
Electro-harmonics, there you go, different flavour for you.
Really magic.
Yeah, really nice. And then, if you haven't already, a Univibe, it is a phaser.
It is a phaser. These are teasers.
Guitar Moog says, "Oh my god, I'm getting a demo on my queue. This is awesome." Yeah, I hope. But obviously, we've got a bit of refining to do, and one day we'll have somebody moving the faders. Maybe Fraser can come back in and help us. But it does make a bit more sense to be able to make noise, doesn't it, and demonstrate some of these things. So I'm glad you're liking it. I've never seen him so close up, says John Yo. What a beauty. Jay Manson, how good is it that we can have examples now? So good. And Woolly Fox says, is a colour driver a fuzz or a distortion?
It can do both. I would say it's more of a... Oh, man. It's definitely more of a fuzz because of the way it squares the edges. But it can do distortion stuff as well because you've got the EQ in it.
It does a beautiful clean boost.
Man, that's its thing for me.
Yeah.
Clean boost into a high watt. That's what stuff dreams are made of.
Tenor Tom says, how much does bypassing the preamp of an amp affect the total watts or headroom of the amp? For instance, if I run a Kingsley Maiden into the effects loop of a 60 watt Fender DeVille, is it still 60 watts?
Of course, yeah, 60 watts is a measurement of power.
Yeah.
So though the power's still there, it just depends on, you know, if I play quiet or loud into a 60 watt amp, it's still a 60 watt amp.
Yeah.
And you know, it's, as long as you're hitting that power amp with a proper preamp signal, all the stuff is there.
Yeah, the Kingsley Maiden will go beyond what the amp's preamp can do, so don't worry about losing anything.
Yeah, totally. The Maiden, man.
Yeah.
That thing is unreal.
Yeah.
And with the DS boost with that,
Yeah.
that connects to the Maiden,
The
which
Page
is
DS.
the Page
Yeah.
DS.
Yeah. It's a great, I mean, I know it's another Kingsley pedal to get. If you haven't got it yet, add a Page DS after the Maiden. There's your Dumble. There's your Hot Rod Deluxe Dumble, or your Hot Rod DeVille Dumble.
Yeah. There's someone had a really great question the other day, and I wrote it down on the show's list. What's the next amp after a Deluxe, after a Hot Rod Deluxe? Where do you go from Hot Rod Deluxe?
Brilliant question.
Isn't that a brilliant question?
It is a great question.
So there's a really good show there.
It's great. People love to hate on Hot Rod Deluxes, and it's just a fantastic amp.
Wonderful. Oh man, really,
Yeah.
really great. I've heard some absolutely cracking gigs and cracking tone from guitar players playing Hot Rod Deluxes. Yeah, wonderful.
Simon Duncan says, not sure if it's possible yet, but just wanted to say I'm really waiting for the JTM 45 versus Princeton 68 versus AC 15 with the same fuzz face and OD. Why not add the high watt too? That would be a cool one. We've got two little problems there. We don't have a JTM 45 or a Princeton 68, so a JTM 45 is something that would be good to acquire, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. All I'm going to say about all of that, oh, it's gone again. It's gone again. Does the physical weight of an amp affect the tone, says Dizzy Rider? You bet it does.
The more effort you put to lugging up those stairs, the better it's going to sound.
Digger68 says, hey guys, I'm trying to balance a Sir Modern with SSH SSV pickups with a Les Paul with PAFs that are raised close to the strings. Any advice?
What's a V? SSH? SSV?
There'll be his various pickups.
Okay.
Sir Modern SSV. Oh, I see. It's a double humbucker guitar.
Oh, okay.
And you're saying you're trying to match it with the Les Paul, but there is a difference there, I guess, is the inference. I'm just going to guess and say that the Sir has much less pronounced mid-range than the Les Paul. And this is a guess. And it probably has less bottom end too. And it has less bottom end for a couple of reasons. One is it's a single cutaway guitar. If you take two bits of the same wood and you make one single cutaway and one double cutaway, the single cutaway guitar will have more bottom end.
Right.
Because of the way it joins the neck, potentially. It's a bit of a generalisation, but it's kind of true. The bridge isn't sat on the body, which is going to rob you of some stuff. It's made out of different wood and it has a shorter scale length. So assuming the Sur is 25.5 and not 24 3/4, I am making an assumption there. All of those things contribute to a different frequency response from that guitar, and when you add them all together, it may well manifest in less audibility from the Sur, i.e. it's not as thick and fat in the low mid range. And I mean, there's so many interconnected things here. Usually, if you ask somebody what's the better sound here, and you add more low mid range and bass, they'll say the thing with more low mid range and bass, especially if you turn it up a bit. More loud is more good when you're doing comparisons usually.
Sure.
So it's probably a combination of all those things. So there's a couple of things you could do. One, look at an EQ pedal. And if you want the Sur to sound like the Les Paul, in which case, why did you buy it? Then you can boost those frequencies to get it close to the Les Paul, or just a simple boost to get it a bit louder. Now, the opposite may be true, of course. I don't know what the pickups are in this guitar. It may be a fire-breathing, screaming thing, and the Les Paul is weak by comparison, in which case just reverse. I know that, you know, for Dan and I, if you've got a pedal board with 3 or 4 drive sections on it, chances are 2 of them are going to work really great with your Les Paul, and 2 of them are going to work really great with your Strat. So that's the way we would do it. Anything to add, Dan?
No, I think you had a really good point. Let the Strat be the Strat. The guitars have got to be what they are. The Les Paul, you know, and the Sur, they're different. It's why, and I tell the story like all the time, but it's why it took me so long to find the right Les Paul, because it had to match with my guitars. I had to be able to plug it in. It needed to sound like a Les Paul, but it needed to have clarity and top end and stuff, and that's why it took me so long to find this the Les Paul that I have. Yeah. You know, Surs are amazing. I've heard some astonishing guitar players play those guitars, and they're wonderful. But it's not going to sound like a Les Paul, and neither the Les Paul's not going to sound like a Sur.
Yeah, I've always associated with a sort of higher fi kind of sound. If you think about Pete Thorne's sound, if you think about Guthrie's sound, when he was playing the Sur, although to be honest, Guthrie just sounds like Guthrie whatever he's playing.
He does.
And a lot of technique guitar players, Matteo Sasato, I listen to, a lot of the heavier guys with all that. There's a commonality to that tone, and it is not thick, bloated Les Paul mid-range.
Yeah, of course.
That is it's not Jimmy Page. That is a different thing, isn't it?
Telecaster.
Jimmy Page.
I think sold more Les Pauls than Jimmy Page's Telecaster.
He did play a Les Paul a lot.
He played Les Paul, of course he did, but a lot of his recorder tones were tellies.
Yeah, especially early days.
Yeah.
But I think that misconception that Led Zepp 2 is all Telecaster is probably not true.
Yeah, of course.
Leighton Hillard says, "Hey Dan, the Grossman Silent Box is not currently shipping to the US. Thank you, Brexit." Actually, no, it's probably not Brexit. So I got a Rivera Silent Sister. Do you have any advice or thoughts on recording the isolation cabs after doing it for a while?
Yeah, so the Grossman isolation box has been a revelation for me. I've recorded all the guitars for my EP on it, and I will never go back. The only thing I would say is, it's not silent, it's quiet. It's 30 dB of reduction, which is a lot, but I'm recording the matchless, and the matchless turned up. Even at 15 watts is flippin' loud. So what I've done, I've got my little studio, and I've actually put a hole through the wall, and I've put the isolation box in the room next door and shut the door. The problem I was having, I had it in the room with me, and it sounds just awesome when I'm recording. Then I hit playback. It's like, well, that's not my sound, because I'm still hearing the resonance, all that stuff with the box in the room. So if you can, put the isolation box in a different room, and so that what you're hearing through the monitors is the true sound of what you're recording with the ISO box. That's the biggest thing. Also, it doesn't. If you really want to record silent, you can. The amp, get used to recording quietly. some of the best tones I've got is with the amp really quiet and just, you know, setting up the microphones to work with that. But yeah, if, you know, I mean, I can only speak of the Grossman audio thing. But if you've got an ISO cab that works really well, far out, game changer. Absolute game changer.
Yeah, I've never really played with one enough. I don't see how you get away from that interaction of guitar and speaker. I don't see how you...
The thing is, because when I'm recording with the monitors, and I've got
so
the monitors loud.
You get a bit of it from that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
yeah, absolutely, because I'm getting vibe from it. But what happens is, when I play back, it's the same sound
Yeah.
that I've recorded with,
Yeah.
you know. But because I'm going, you know, it's amp, you know, guitar into amp, into ISO box, mic on the ISO box, I'm getting all the stuff that I need to sound anywhere near decent, you know.
It's working.
Oh, yeah, I'd love it. So
nice. Gera S says, hi guys, or Gera S or Gera S says, have you played with the Empress Echo system? I suppose Dan has because he's Dan. What are some of your favourite ways to run it? Yes, you'll see the Echo system a little bit in this week's show, and I do believe we had it in the King of Delays show from a few weeks back.
It's consistently one of our faves. It's on the board over there. I've been a big fan of Empress for a long time, and they are consistently coming up with creative and at the same time wonderful sounding things. It's one thing to be creative, it's one thing to make things sound really good, but to have them both together, like the Zoya, far out, man. Yeah, just so creative. But the Echo system is a stellar sounding delay. It you know, it has all the engines in there. It's really, like, you know, beer preset. I love that. It's so good. Yeah, it does all the stuff. It's just
really
I think
great.
great.
If the question is hinting at the fact there's so much in it and you're not really sure where to start, I would start by exploring some of the classic delay sounds that it can do.
Yep.
So, you know, call up the analog simulations, call up some of the digital ones, play with ping pong in stereo, you know, go through some really classic delay sounds. Try and set up the edge delay sound, you know, using the quarter note and the dotted eighth.
Let's see how good it goes in low light.
It won't. You won't be able to see it. No.
Ah, okay. I'll bring it over here.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Turn the camera on as well. So yeah, but it's ace. I think we've said many times it's absolutely our favourite multifunction modern delay.
Yep. Okay.
You've put.
There we go. This is the board for Friday's show.
Yeah, that's the board for Friday's show.
And that there. Hang on.
Oh
Just
my
in case you
God.
haven't seen it. There's Neil's signature. There you go.
Something is insane has happened with our internet.
What?
That upload speed is normally like 9. It went up to 20.
Awesome. There we go.
Unless that's how much it's caching.
Extreme close up. Whoa!
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Dan's going to get a job on the BBC as a cameraman.
I am.
I've realised that I'm going to have to get wireless cameras, Dan.
Oh, do we have to?
Well, I managed to pull that cable out.
Yeah, that's all right. Just plug it back in. Easy.
Yes, I am slightly OCD and a little bit anal. Lewis Alexandra says, Fender Blackface amp, Celestine or Jensen speakers? Jensen. Luke Paxton, thanks for everything you do. Wonder if you could suggest a really good quiet amp to play in the flat that I can run loads of pedals through. Keeley, the Keeley Supro, but it's loud, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I would go headphones personally. I'd get a Strymon Iridium and go headphones.
Yeah. Strymon Iridium headphones, great. I use a Audio Kitchen Big Chopper. It's a 1-watt valve amplifier, and it's superb. But it's not quiet. At that volume, some modeling amps are really good because they give you like the my favorite is the Yamaha THR10.
Yep.
Because it's stereo, and so you get this lush sound, this lush experience from this tiny little amplifier. Now, one really awesome thing to do, that the sound of stereo quiet is great. If you get 2 small amplifiers, even 2 small katanas, and run them wet dry, it sounds massive.
Yep.
It sounds so much more than just like 2 katanas.
Yep.
And that can work really well in apartments. I think we'll do another show.
Low volume tones.
Yeah, like apartment tones.
Yeah. Yeah. I really struggle, like Dan is suggesting, you know, like 1 amp. It's so much, it sounds crazy, but if you have 2 amps even quieter than you would have 1 amp on its own, the sound is so much bigger. James Dalziel. Hello, Jamie. How are you, mate? Hope you're well. He says, evening, gents. Hope you're both swell. I'm moving countries tomorrow.
Didn't you move before?
Bon voyage. Yeah, he was living in UAE or somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Will be a couple of months without my tube amps. Headphones and Iridium in the meantime. Should I just take up golf instead?
No, absolutely not. It's a really great experience.
You'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golf.
I was practicing with the Wazza Air yesterday, and I'm not a massive fan of the overdrive sound in it, but the clean sound in it, neck pick up of the telly into that, just so much fun. This thing though, where you move your head, no.
Yeah, yeah.
No thanks.
It's weird.
But sonically, the clean sound in it is divine.
Okay, Daniel, we need to hurry up.
Oh,
I think.
do we?
The Great Dell says, I've just spec'd the Bacchus Duke that I asked about last week. I'm getting their black oil finish, added a flame maple top, smidge thicker neck, Lola low wines and Grovers. Now to wait a year. Help me.
Very good, mate.
Enjoy. Please tell us what your impressions are when you get it. Kevin D. Hello from the Great White North, which is now turning green. Where's that, like? Bristol.
Oh, I thought it was a Game of Thrones reference.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Having some trouble deciding between the Strymon Volante, the Echarec, Catlin-bred Echarec, and the Bunar. Please help.
Simple. Volante.
Yes, very
Next.
simple. Volante.
Next.
If you need pedalboard space, the Bunar, I think the Bunar's the best sounding one, personally. Well, the Volante is the best sounding one, but the Bunar in a small format,
Yeah, it's killer.
is really great.
Yeah,
But
totally.
you know, the Echarec, nothing wrong with it. One would hope they're going to bring out an Echarec Deluxe at some point.
Right.
But it's got to be the Volante, because you get all the tape stuff as well.
And boy, oh boy, it sounds. Every time I've plugged into that stuff, magic happens.
It is a really fantastic thing.
Yeah, they've done great.
But smaller format, Bunar.
Yeah.
Brian Garcia. Hello, Brian. He says, finally watched the Vibe versus Harmonic Trem. I'm building a board with Harmonic Trem, Rotary and Vibe, but I feel that's too much. Would putting the Harmonic Trem through a mini vent get closer to a Vibe than where it already sits? Well,
No, I don't have time.
huh?
Are you going to play it?
Yep.
Okay. We have time.
Well, we don't have time. We've got no time at all.
We've got no time.
But we're going to do it anyway.
All right.
For your delectation, here is a
Oh, because you got them already.
harmonic
Of course.
tremolo through a mini vent.
Yeah. Sorry, I see. You've already got them. Here's one Mick did earlier.
Because I have both on my board as well. That work? Doesn't really sound like a vibe.
Doesn't really sound like a vibe, but boy, oh boy, what a glorious noise.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't sound like a vibe. I'm sure if you've got a different type of, rotary with some more controls on it, it would sound more like a vibe, maybe.
Right.
But it's not really the same thing at all, is it?
I don't know. I'm just vibing on the camera.
You just like pointing the
I
camera.
love it. It's so great.
There we go, Brian. Hopefully that was a live demo of whether you like that sound or not. I did it a bit clean with a bit of fuzz from the color driver as well, so you got an idea of it. Hello from Garland, Texas, says Richard Avila. He says, do you have any recommendations for a great stereo phaser or flanger? I've been enjoying the stereo inputs on my JC40 lately.
Oh.
Yeah, the TC SCF if you can get it.
There you go.
The stereo chorus flanger. You can only get them used. It's pretty cool.
There's some stereo rack stuff. That's good. The market for stereo modulation pedals, especially analog world.
Surely Universal Audio Astra.
There you go. Universal Audio Astra.
Just come out, and
Yep.
it does the Boss BCF, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
There you go. There you go. Failing that, run them wet dry and you'll think it's stereo.
There you go.
Bruce, I just bought a new Fender Ultra Strat in Texas T this weekend. I blame it partly on watching you two and the beautiful clean sounds you demonstrate in your video. Well, congrats, Bruce. Welcome to Stratland.
Maybe he'd like a bit more of an exploration into Strat.
Yeah. Non-aligned video says, whenever I see I've got a wet dry rig, I respond with they've got an effective ointment for that. Nick Larson says, I have a full drive 2. I hear it's based on a Boss SD1 circuit. Any other recommendations for other SD1 based pedals? I love the thickness and EQ curve of the full drive, but looking to support another company. Full drive,
I don't think it's SD1, is it?
was always more tube screamery to
Yeah.
me, but with more open top end.
But maybe that's what the SD1...
Was one's asymmetric and one's symmetric, I think is the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's
I
a
know,
difference
that was
in the filtering. Yeah, I don't know, but it would... Yeah, it's all in that ballpark. Okay. Some other things. I mean, you know, the obvious one is a tube screamer. Keeley... what's the Keeley one? The Red Dirt, but that's higher gain.
It's the full drive 2 is a two-sided thing. It's got a boost and a...
Yeah, that's right.
This is going to be a weird suggestion, and there may be a wait list. Analog Man modded Maxon OD9 with Bad Bob Booster. Doesn't get any cooler than that.
It's unbelievable, that thing.
Yeah.
We jammed at Mike's house, and you pulled that out and just wiped
Yeah.
the floor with everyone.
Absolutely
Awesome.
amazingly brilliant tube screamer with the Bad Bob Boost after it, and it is
Yep.
a really lovely thing. So that would be top of my list
Yep.
from Analog Man. Jesse Davey Duelist from King
Duelist is a
Tone.
good shout.
Bit of a wait list, but utterly amazing overdrive pedal.
What about the
Various incarnations of the JHS do a... It's either the double barrel or it's the Ice T.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it's the double barrel. So JHS double barrel. The Ice T's got the AT in it, which
Oh,
is
yes,
not
you're right.
you don't really want that.
do we not have double barrel?
Yeah, it's there.
Here it is. Yeah, there you go. Double barrel.
Yeah, check out that
Yeah.
JHS double barrel.
The Dane.
Yeah, Thorpe Dane. Hey, T-Rex Moller too.
Oh man.
Yeah, really good. There's so many great overdrive pedals out there. But Thorpe Dane is a good shout, actually.
Yep.
Not really tube screamery, much more open sounding than that, but
Yeah.
really good, a good dual pedal.
Yeah. But the full drive to me is more open sounding as well.
Than the tube screamer.
The tube screamer.
I agree,
Yeah.
especially in the comp cut mode.
Yep.
One of the great things about the full drive is you can change those clipping diodes, which is what makes a tube screamer sound like that when it's quiet. Whereas in
Yeah.
the Full drive, if you put it in the comp cut mode, it gets rid of the clipping diodes. I think that's my assumption of what happens, and it just sounds big and fat and open. Weight of Gold says hi from RI USA, Rhode Island, I guess, home of Scrabble and Dumb and Dumber.
I love that film.
It's the Weight of Gold band here. I got the Blorst Spatial Delivery Tumnus on the Hammond from your advice. The volume pedal opens the envelope and drives the Tumnus into a squealing bliss.
Wow.
Hammonds, guitar amps, it's just something about it. John Lord, obviously.
Yeah.
And Don Airy, we should mention Don Airy. Just a wonderful sound. Where's Chilton? Happy day, guys. Just bought my dream amp, an almost entirely original Mint 67 Deluxe Reverb.
Very nice.
I traded my reissue for it, and they gave me more than I'd paid for it. It sounds glorious. Nice.
Well done, mate.
Happy
That's
days.
brilliant.
67 Matse says, hello friends, I'd like to celebrate New Guitar Day with you. I've done myself a huge favour of gifting myself a nice 59 reissue Les Paul, and I love it. Les Paul and Blues Breaker pedals and Beano Boost. Guess who inspired me? Well, Clapton, hopefully, but if we had a hand in it, happy days.
Yeah, awesome.
Nice.
Cosmic J says, come on guys, blow your own trumpet. The D&M drive is killer. It is killer. We love it, but it's not this in the same thing as the...
No, it's not like a full drive.
Not like the full drive. Yeah. But thank you.
It is killer, yes. Reese Manion says, I own a Marshall Origin 50C and I'm struggling to turn up the volume to achieve a wonderful plexitone. I want to put an exotic SL drive in the end of my pedal chain before going into the amp. Any thoughts or suggestions? The exotic SL is really screaming. It's quite an aggressive Marshall sound, a really good sound. To me, it's better at the higher, the higher gains.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to put it at the end. In fact, depending on what your other pedals are, I wouldn't put it at the end. I would stick to your standard pedal order. You know, put your delays and your reverbs after, and mess around with where you like your modulations. But yeah, SL Drive's a good shout. We played something recently that was really, really good. It was a J-Rocket.
Oh, yeah.
Animal Overdrive.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. J-Rocket Animal.
Yep.
Sort of less fire breathing than the SL Drive. There's lots of good Plexi type ones out there. But yeah, don't let us put you off the Plexi, the SL Drive. It is really great if you like the higher gain end of things. And yes, don't worry about putting it on the end. Just go with standard pedal order. Matt Lloyd. Hey, Matt.
Hey,
nice to
buddy.
hear from you. He says, thanks for Friday's show. I've wanted to know what you think. I use 2 Prince of Tones for my classic rock tone. Les Paul, Prince of Tones, both on boost, low gain, right, pushing the left out to my Fender Marshall wet dry rig. It sounds glorious.
I bet it does.
Actually,
That's a great shout.
I think our favourite tone was both of them on the boost mode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was killer. Absolutely killer.
Yeah, nice, Matt. Good to hear from
Well
you,
done,
mate.
buddy.
Hope you're well. Paul Matulevich. Thank you for the clarification. Matulevich, he says, but I'm not bothered. Morning, boys. Dan mentioned in the past that he had germanium transistors blow in his treble booster. How does that sound?
No, they didn't blow. They just changed. I just remember when I was first getting into this, I had the most glorious sounding. It was before I got the Java Boost, and it still had the OC44, the Black Mallard transistor in it. It was like, it was amazing. And then at a gig, it just changed, and it never sounded the same. And yeah, they can do that. They're really super temperamental. Didn't blow, just changed.
Changed, yeah. Miles Hensley. It's a big question, Miles. I don't think we'll be able to answer it all here. Thank you for your generosity. He says, hi from France.
Bonjour.
I'm currently working on a new board with the goal of adding more modulation sounds. Could you explain the differences between chorus, phaser and flanger? I know they're different, but the text seems similar.
Okay, chorus. Signal goes in. Split. one side modulated, other side not modulated, and then they're mixed in. So the modulation, the vibrato sound mixed in with the that's your basic chorus. Flanger, very similar thing, except the delay time that we use to get the pitch is much shorter. So you get this thing called a comb filter, and so you get these notch filters, and that creates the flanger sound. A phaser, what that does is it uses a capacitor and resistor, and it changes the resistance. Basically, it creates a time difference, but in frequency. So as the you've got the capacitor and resistor, and as the resistors get smaller, you get this the time shift moves in frequency. So as you modulate that resistance, the time shift goes up and down in frequency. And what happens when you mix that with the original sound, you get the phaser sound, because it's not just a modulated sound. You're actually modulating the phase, but in a different frequency. So, for example, if you stop that resistance at some point, you'll just get this notch filter in a certain area. But as you can go up and down, you get this phase shift over the frequencies, and that gives you the phaser sound. And you know, you get two of those circuits, you get a phase 45, which is more gentle sound. Get four of those, you get a 90-degree phase shift, get a phase 90. So yeah, it's the phaser, chorus and flanger live in the same sort of world. You can get them sounding very similar. Phaser is different. That modulation is happening, causing a phase shift of a frequency, and that's a different sound. And think of Univibe. Think of what's the
Give us a clue.
The Isley Brothers.
Oh yeah, who's that lady?
Who's that lady? That's those are sort of phaser sounds.
There are, yeah, and there's within chorus and flanger and phaser, you've got all different types as well.
Of course.
What? Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House, is that chorus? On the opening. Okay, so open up Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is you use. Call up these songs. Don't Dream It's Over by Crowded House. Listen to the guitar intro on that. That is a chorus. Call up Nobody to Blame But Me by Chris Stapleton.
Mm-hmm.
That is a phaser and used in its classic country environment. Got a flanger one?
Yeah.
What's the famous Van Halen flanger one?
It's not. What is it?
Ain't Talking About Love?
Is that Ain't Talking About Love?
Yeah. And listen to some Paul Gilbert. There's usually flanger all over that.
Police.
Yeah.
Andy. Yeah. Listen, actually, a really good chorus one is Echo Beach. Guitar sound on that, and yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. DJ Mortez says, I've been playing guitar for 3 months. Thanks to your channel, I'm learning very fast and I can finally compete with my friends. I've got a Fender HM and a Jackson bass.
Nice.
Good on you, DJ. Thanks for being with us. Welcome to the team. I moved to a new place without proper ground, says Frankie Boy. My audio equipment hums like crazy.
Yep.
I wired my audio to the heater, but I'm still getting hum.
Yep.
Even bought a power conditioner. Would you personally add copper shielding to a CS Strat?
No. I would get an electrician in and get it done properly. Yeah. So anyone that lives near the beach, ground can be a major issue because of the amount of silicon in the sand, and so it can be difficult to get a proper ground. Loads of gigs I used to do at the Gold Coast had similar problems. Get an electrician in and get a decent ground happening, and it'll be, yeah. The other thing, if you've got lighting in your house that uses those really cheap
dimmers,
transformers and dimmers and stuff, and fluorescent lights, just make sure...
Get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of that. If you can possibly put it on a different circuit in your house than your audio stuff, yeah, but get a decent ground. It'll change your life.
Ed K says, hi guys, thanks for having the Hampstead Odyssey in one of your shoes. I can't believe how good it is. Shows, not shoes. Why isn't everyone raving about it? Great show, chaps. You're an inspiration.
The thing with I think the thing with the Odyssey is because it does so much.
Too complicated for me.
You know, exactly. I think you can really fine tune it and you know, it's super tweakable. It does sound great, but because it does so much, a lot of people are not really sure exactly how to approach it because it's so flexible. I'm using the Zenith at the moment as my compressor, and it's just brilliant. And that's got all the EQ and stuff, and you can have it compressor before EQ before compressor, or have them parallel. You know, really super flexible. I think that's the thing about the Hamster stuff. It is. I mean, I actually talked to Peter Hamster today, and he is a genius designer. You know, their stuff is wonderful, just made beautifully. But you're not going to be presented with, it's going to sound like this. You can get in there and tweak it and find your own thing, but it's not like it's not going to like, here's a tube screamer. That's what it sounds like. You know what I mean? It is its own thing. It's really, really cool though. And I agree, Odyssey is brilliant.
Oscar Sturholm says, can a buffer distort the sound when it's hit too hard? For example, if I put a loud overdrive in front of my boss pedal in bypass.
Yes. So, okay.
I think that's what was happening in my
DC2.
DC2.
Yeah. So it's a really good example. One of the things that some of the I don't think the DC2 did it, I'm not sure, but they did upgrade the buffers. And a lot of the boss pedals, they're using a single transistor, sort of emitter follower type circuit. And for most stuff, they're absolutely fine. But if they don't have, you know, the headroom, you've got basically in the boss pedal, I'm not sure exactly how they're biased, but you've got, you know, let's say you've got 9 volts coming in and they put the fake ground in the middle and you've got a swing of 4.5. I don't think they've got that much in them, to be fair. Whereas with an op amp, and you can, you know, if you're hitting it with like 18 volts, you've got plus minus 9.
That's headroom.
That's headroom, you know. But I'm not quite sure the amount of headroom the boss ones did. But to answer your question, yes, it absolutely can happen. That is all about headroom, which is why headroom is so important.
Stephen finds, oh no, Paul Matulovic came back on the germanium transistors thing. He says, for clarification, I was asking because I've got a Java boost.
Yes.
That had a boost in the proper EQ range, but sounds weirdly void and empty.
My original Java boost with the AC44 transistor in it. I love this thing. This into a hotcake, something else. Right.
His says it sounds weirdly void and empty.
Yeah, I'd get hold of Robert because these do not sound weirdly void and empty.
Well, it's got the 3-position switch on it.
Yeah.
And it does sound really awful in the most trebly one, unless you've got it going into something that's overdriving.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to boost something that's kind of clean, the trebly setting sounds just dreadful. You need to dial more mids in. But if it's going into a really overdriving something, like a overdriving Vauxhall, your man's hotcake there, then the trebly setting is right. Is that right?
Yeah, so the trebly setting is basically your original treble booster.
Like pulling out
teeth. It's a treble booster. You know, it's not a clean boost. It's designed to be hitting the front of something that's limiting. And that's when it comes to life.
Stephen Fine says, which episode do I need to watch to figure out what is the best looper for me? We've never done it.
Been waiting for Katie Tunstall.
Yeah, she won't have the answer.
She will.
She'd be good at looping, but she won't be able to tell you what the best one to buy is.
I don't know.
She uses that headrush thing, doesn't she?
Does she?
Or the old Akai one, maybe.
Right. She's amazing.
She is amazing. Oh, God. The only one I can use is the TC Ditto. Simple, because I don't want all that extra stuff. But there will be something in Boss's line for you. And be realistic about what functions you actually are going to use and what ones you're going to totally ignore.
Yep. For a lot of people who use the Line 6 DL4 as a looper, if you're into that, it's really hard to find anything else. It's as a creative looper. It's only got a short record time and that stuff, but boy, oh boy, it's wonderful. Paul Stacey, Ed O'Brien, there's a bunch of guys who love that functionality as looper.
It's not a looper though, is it? Not.
Well, it's a delay, but it does have the,
Yeah.
you know, as if they're using it as a looper, just the character of it as a looper is brilliant. But if you want to get, you know, the Boss stuff is great. Pigtronics make fantastic loopers.
Oh yeah, the Infinity.
The Infinity is brilliant. Yeah, but the range of Boss stuff, you can go from a really simple looper to, you know, create drum loops and stuff and do everything on the fly. They've got a massive range of loopers.
Try and write down a list of the things you want to be able to do.
Yeah.
And if it's literally just play something in and play over the top of it, then go for a simple one.
Yeah.
If you want some basic manipulation after that, then there's something like the MXR clone looper, which enables you to do double and half speed and reverse. Is really cool.
Really, really cool.
But yeah, like as Dan says, if you want features, the Boss RC range is
unreal.
a good place to go.
I used an RC2 for years and years and years, and it was just perfect.
Jason Carapazzi says, long time, gents. Speaking of long waits for pedals, I ordered a Dan Drive Secret Weapon in January. He messaged me to say it would be 36 months.
Oh, wow.
What's the longest you'd wait for a pedal? I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I'd buy something else. I can't. My psyche would not let me wait that long.
Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't have a. I'd put my deposit for it, but then I'd try and forget about it.
Yeah.
And just one day it'll turn up.
Yeah.
You know, I've been waiting more than 2 years now for my acoustic, and that's been tough.
Yeah.
But the only good thing about it is there's been no gigs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But that's.
I think I'd learn how to build one if I had to wait 36 months.
Yeah, right.
But we love, you know how much we love Dan. Blimey, you know how much I love Dan. 3 years, that is a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's if you're not prepared to compromise on anything.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So we had a chat to Simon Kingsley when he was over, because we're such massive fans of his, and his wait times were getting longer and longer. We thought, you know, what about, you know, getting into production and stuff? He's like, no, just this is how I do it.
Yeah.
And they're consistently awesome.
Same with Analog Man, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same with Analog Man.
You know, either of the, you know, Dan Drive, Analog Man, and
Simon Jarrett.
Simon Jarrett could all go to a big manufacturer and go, yeah, make everything smaller, stick it on a production line and make 5 million of them. Actually, I'll make more margin on it, even if we half the price if you do that.
Yeah.
So I'll make more money. I can buy my new Porsche next year. But they don't want to do that. They don't. That's not their thing.
No.
Yeah, 36 months, Jason. Well, I hope you love it when you get it. It is blooming brilliant.
Just a Paul Machulovic says, I run Vox's AC10 to AC30. I've got several treble boosters. It's just that one that's not right.
There you go.
Then get in touch with Robert Keeley and he'll sort you out.
Yeah. Chris Turner says, I'm really frustrated this week. My acoustic has developed a fault with the piezo. Gear can sound great, but if it's unreliable, I completely lose interest.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Chris, turn your frustration into a positive outcome by fixing it. And just process of elimination, find out where the fault is. It's usually always the battery connection, if you want to start somewhere. That is a common problem. And after that, it's just going to be a wire off somewhere, or the jack.
Yep.
So battery connection, jack, start there. I'm going to half guarantee you that it'll be one of those two things. Failing that, get in there, do a bit of, you know, arm up the cow's bum, and fix it. And turn your frustration into something positive. Good luck.
Indeed.
Josh Garland, thoughts on an acoustic pedal board challenge? Yes, Dan would win. Because I won't use an acoustic pedal board.
You've got your... Oh, no, you go straight into that. Yeah,
Guitar, amp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Galogamoth, no question, just a thank you to Mick for patiently answering my questions in the comments each week. Thanks, lads. We try to...
Might be me.
Yeah. We try to answer as many as we possibly can.
Yeah.
It is a bit of a task because we get a lot, but you know, the TPS community, we are extremely grateful to be among you lot.
Indeed.
And we're lucky to be among you lot. So we, you know, it's family, isn't it? So we try and do
Yep.
right by the family.
Yeah.
Speaking of family, Jacob Bartelt says, "Hi again. My last question earlier in the video was meant for Mick. Sorry, are you going back to the bigger board, Mick? More board builds? Yeah. Well, kinda. This is as big as I want it. To be honest, it's not quite. We've moved a few things around, but in general, we got G3 Atom. I have two things here. One is either a fuzz or the Tweedy, and the second is always the octave. That then goes into an overdrive, which is up here, which is usually the clon and a tube screamer, or something else. And then modulation, Mini Vent 2, and the Harmonious Monk that are wet dry, so they only hit 1 amp, and then stereo, delay and reverb. What I love about pedal boards like this is I don't want it to get much bigger than that. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather it was smaller than that.
We did try.
We did try, but it's just pain stacking everything in because you can't pull things on and off with ease, and I really like that. Obviously, it's a mess at the moment, but what have we done today? We've demonstrated quite a few things. Just yank off one overdrive and put on another, and I love that I love that approach to it. That
totally
works for me personally. So maybe there'll be a video on that in time. But it's sounding really spectacular at the moment.
Just glorious, glorious.
I'm in general, I'm on a sort of, sound crazy to say it, I'm on a simplification route in all aspects of my life at the moment. So that is ridiculous, but it is simpler than what it was.
Sure.
So, yeah. And thank you, Jacob. Matt Scott. Hello, kind sirs. Are there any downsides to having 3 to 5 fuzz pedals, all on the same G2 loop? They're all true bypass and will only be used one at a time.
No, just the amount of female attention that you'll be gathering from having so many fuzz pedals was always my problem.
Oh my God, is that an Analog Man sun face? Can I buy you a drink? Yes, you know, and this one's called OC44 transistor. Love.
No, absolutely fine.
But what about the input-output impedance thing?
They're all true bypass. As long as you've got really good patch cables. I mean, it's funny. I say it's absolutely fine, but I always find that when if you pair it back and listen to the sound of just one, as long as you're how I put it, it should be absolutely fine as long as you've got really good patch cables and you're keeping those, just check all those connections. Then yes, because if all the pedals are true bypass and you're not loading one into the other, yeah, it's fine. The only test to do is to try them one at a time and then put them all in there and see if you can, and then try them one at a time like that.
Yeah.
And then see if you can hear anything. Yeah, I will have sometimes 2, but I'll never have any more than that. And generally, I just have 1.
Yep. Connor McKinnon, hi Connor, he says, Dan, thank you, can't thank you enough for recommending Pat Martino's Sunny live with John Schofield. I came for the jazz guitar and stayed for Joey DiFrancesco's insane Hammond solo.
Oh my word. He is something else, man. Yeah. Yes, wonderful.
He wants another recommendation from you, please.
Oh, okay. Right, my recommendation for you this week is a band called, is it Kruangan? I've got my lesson tomorrow sorry, just come up on my calendar, with Mike Stern.
Dan's got a guitar lesson with Mike Stern. I'd just like to reiterate that.
So I've been going through all my jazz stuff with Mike Stern and have listened to Mike Stern's solo on Fat Time that he did with Miles Davis.
It's the real Mike Stern, not a fake Mike Stern or somebody else called Mike Stern. It's actually Mike Stern.
There is a band that I've been getting into lately called how do you say it? Kruangan? Oh, man. C-A... There you go. Kruangbin. These guys. And the album's called Hasta El Cello, or Cielo. And they're just wonderful. How would you pronounce that?
Kruangbin.
Kruangbin, yeah.
As opposed to recycling bin, which I need to remember to put out tonight.
Yeah, so that's really good. But if you want another Pat Martino, listen to Pat Martino live in Japan. Let me just make sure I get the name of the album correct, because it is an absolute masterpiece. Where is it? Live at Yoshi's. Pat Martino live at Yoshi's.
There you go.
Awesome.
Wilf Mehmet. Hello, Wilf. He says, "Hi guys, Mick, I love the episode on the casino. I was just wondering if the retention of high end when reducing the volume only lies on the wiring and not the pickups. Can I just upgrade the wiring?" I would thoroughly recommend that as a start point, Will. My assumption is that casinos don't come 50s wired, right? So if you put really decent pots, caps, and make sure it's wired in a 50s way, it's the schema. It's which way you connect the lugs on the pots, and where the tone control is in relation. But don't worry about all of that. It's all in the diagram. Yes, you will notice a significant difference. I'm pretty sure the pickups had a huge effect as well. And if microphony is no problem on your casino, then go for it. Yeah, definitely do the pots, the wiring and the caps. I would absolutely, I don't know where you are, you're in the UK, I would absolutely recommend the kit I got from Six String Supplies. It was just brilliant. So,
awesome.
Yeah. I see everything twice.
Huh?
Hello from New Hampshire. Hello, New Hampshire. I'm just curious what you guys think about the Rev G2 Overdrive. Also, thanks, Dan, for convincing me to give Telecasters a try. I'm now completely addicted.
They'll do that to you.
It's hard to go back.
It's a long and winding road, my friend.
We do have a Rev G2, but we haven't spent enough time with it to provide a useful answer.
Yeah. It's the green one, isn't it? The Rev G2.
It is.
And I think there was a misconception because it's green
That it was a tube screamer
type thing. No.
Yeah. Yes, I'm afraid I don't know much about it. It's the trouble, isn't it? There's so many great overdrives, so many pedals coming out, people getting in touch with us going, "Oh, can you review this?" I'm like, oh man, there's such a lot to get your head around.
Yeah. Fun though.
Yeah, not that I'm moaning. And finally, Matt Tucker. Hi Matt, thanks for your question. He says, "Hello gents, I just built my first board with affordable pedals covering most of the basics.
Nice.
Is there an effect you came to love later in your playing that you'd wished you'd found earlier?"
Okay, I'll be quick. I got into fuzz later, but fuzz, I think the more you progress with your guitar playing, the more fuzz sort of reveals its awesomeness to you. It's a hard effect when you start out because it's so unforgiving. It's so dynamic. And every little, every touch, with a good fuzz, every little thing you do sort of comes through. But the better I got as a player, the more I got into fuzz. I think compression was a mystery for a long time. Yeah. When you're first starting out, delay can be a real mystery. And but I sort of embraced that as quickly as I could because I heard someone do some seagull sounds on it, and I just went, I don't know how you're doing that, but I need to have that in my life.
I think I wished I had developed my ear. So rather than pin it on a specific pedal, I wish I'd learned to hear more critically so I could tell what it was.
Right.
because I was so gung-ho about playing the guitar and thinking I was brilliant and everything that I didn't listen hard enough and I didn't learn hard enough.
Interesting.
So I would say, if rather than go, oh, I really need a phaser and I should get that, maybe actually actively listen to some stuff and pick out what it is. And then the great thing that Google exists now, you can Google it and find out. But if you challenge yourself and say, right, I'm going to listen to Ain't Talking About Love, what are the effects I can hear on that?
Unchained was the
Flanger.
the flanger one.
And that might be a good thing to do. So learn to listen critically to stuff. And not necessarily with the goal of recreating someone else's sound, but in terms of understanding what those things do. Yeah.
Totally.
A couple from the floor to finish. Cup of noodles. Mick, are you still gassing for a Collings i30, or has the upgraded Casino scratched the itch?
Dun, 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 dun.
A purchase is being made, and
Yes,
there is a
it
bit
is.
of a wait. So I'm not entirely sure how long that wait is, but it's a while. So I bought one basically.
Yeah. Mick was offered a really lovely i30, but it wasn't exactly the one that he wanted.
It was a colour that isn't my thing, and it had a couple of things that were my thing. The guitar would have been
Killer.
but I just thought, you know what? It's a guitar for the rest of my life.
Because you've been dreaming about that. You've been banging on about that guitar since we...
Ever since it came
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the show, even Simon, I told Simon I'd ordered one, and he sent me a text, a picture of him playing the black one, going, he thinks it's the best guitar he's ever played,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think it was the best guitar I've ever played. So, yes, the Casino is ace. It sounds really great. I love playing it week in, week out. A couple of things I don't love about it. The neck is too small. I don't love the finish. And as great as it is, and as brilliant as it sounds, when you're used to really beautiful higher end guitars, it ultimately still feels like a cheap guitar to me.
Yeah.
Which, however snobby that sounds, I
Yeah,
don't want
yeah,
it to
yeah.
sound snobby.
Yeah.
It's great. The Casino is great fun, and I love playing it. But I want the lifer.
Yeah. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Well, let's see if I make it to when it's ready. Cool. I think you guys are great, says Jason Ty. Thanks, Jason.
Cheers, mate.
And Scott Hines, any pedals to reduce feedback on my archtop? EQ.
EQ.
That's the only one I'll do it.
Yep.
And get an EQ that's got a really tunable notch filter. You can find the most offensive frequencies and just tune them out.
Yeah.
Because there'll be a couple of places where it howls much worse than others. But yeah, it's really an EQ job.
Yeah, an acoustic EQ as much as anything, because sometimes you can just flip the phase and it'll reduce it. Yeah,
And that
as they say.
is us. Right, really long one tonight. Thanks for staying with us. We did have some extra technical Hoojumi flip to go on, but I think it was a success, Dan.
I believe so as well.
I know
It was
you
brilliant fun.
preferred pointing the camera than playing the guitar.
The camera was great. But that really did sound epic. I feel like, I was hearing outro music then.
Yeah?
Like, you know, the music they play.
Yeah.
When they...
Well, you should play some outro music.
No, I'm
shouldn't you?
good.
No?
I'm good.
You done? You want to go home?
Yeah, I'm done.
Hungry?
I'm hungry. And, yeah. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Appreciate it.
I'm going to slowly fade us down. I'm going to slowly fade us down like a fade out. It's like a fade out. Like, ooh, yeah, baby, we're fading out. We're so faded.